Okay, I'm going to get started, and then those people who come in a little bit later can just have to catch up or have to watch the recording later for things they might have missed. So welcome, everybody. My name is Garland Colson. I am the conversation architect at PresentationPoint. Kirk came up with a new title for me, which is fun. And I love what I can do with this particular idea, because it allows me to open up conversations with our clients and with our members and our users and our affiliates and our resellers. And that just gives me a wealth of different ways that DataPoint can be used. And so I've come up here with a presentation on 40 plus different DataPoint uses you may not have thought of. This session is being recorded, so we will make it available in a few days on our YouTube channel. So if you have to leave early, or there's somebody else you know who could benefit from it who hadn't seen it yet, then you can certainly introduce them to it that way. So 40 plus DataPoint uses, and feel free to ask questions throughout in the chat. When I see the chat questions, I'll go ahead and answer them, and be happy to talk about how it was done. If we get too technical, we might have to talk after the session or separately as well, but I can certainly give you some insights into how each of these were done. So to start off with, what is DataPoint? So DataPoint is a PowerPoint add-on, and you can see here I've just taken a screenshot of the DataPoint ribbon installed in my PowerPoint. It connects to over 25 different data sources, including Microsoft Excel, XML, RSS, MySQL, news, weather, and many others. It allows real-time updating of data in presentations and in digital signage. So this essentially means your PowerPoint is now enabled with real-time data from whatever source you're going to connect it to. And who uses it? So we have over 10,000 clients worldwide using it, including some of the largest names in the world. That includes SpaceX, NASA, the US Air Force, Sony, Boeing, some very large companies and organizations. As you can see, many universities are using it. So we've reached a lot of people worldwide. Someone says, I like the stock ticker type scrolling along the bottom of a screen. Yes, and that's something that DataPoint can certainly help you with being able to add. So the first use of DataPoint is digital signage. So essentially all the digital signage that you see out there, you can probably recreate it in DataPoint, I'm pretty sure. If you're not sure, send me a snapshot you take with your smartphone of a digital signage and say, could I do this in DataPoint or one of your other tools? And chances are the answer is yes, that we can do this. And then you're able to connect doing PowerPoint. And the real benefit of doing your digital signage in PowerPoint, instead of using some sort of proprietary software and hardware, is Microsoft puts tons of money into PowerPoint. So no digital signage software company can hope to compete with the amount of money that Microsoft has put into making PowerPoint easy to use. So that's one major reason why you want to stick with PowerPoint for your digital signage. And also, of course, because most of us have PowerPoint. It's something we readily get with Microsoft Office. It's something we use. It's a little easier to use than things like Photoshop and things like that, where you need some, you have steeper learning curves. Now, an interesting side trick with digital signage, we put an article on our website of it, is to create multi-language digital signage. So this means you could have your digital signage work in multiple languages. So you could just have the translations in something like a Microsoft Excel file or an Access file or any sort of other database. And then you could be showing your digital signage in multiple languages. Perhaps one of your locations is in an area where people speak, a lot of people speak another language. Then you can add an additional language to your digital signage. So this is a screenshot of Air Tindy. Air Tindy is an airline in Canada's far north. And it's kind of interesting because DataPoint started off when our founder worked in an airport and wanted to have a way to be able to show the wanted a way to be able to show the arrivals and departures and things like that. So we started at an airport, and now we're still being used, in the aviation industry. So air attendees showing the flight that's coming in, the boarding, the departing, the flight time, the date and time down below. Don't know why it's going automatically. I've turned that off. And then it shows the weather in the different places that they go to. So, and they show safety information as well. So it shows safety regulations, rules, promotions, and things like that. Digital menu boards, very easy to create using DataPoint. So you can essentially have your pictures and your pictures and your pricing and everything else in a database. And then you can change it in one central location, and you could update your menu boards across the country or even around the world, all via the internet. Breaking news, you can connect your PowerPoint to live news, have it scroll through, show pictures from that news broadcast, be able to set up a news ticker, as Hal had mentioned, he thought was really good. So, and it's really easy to just connect your PowerPoint slides to, most news sources using DataPoint. Live weather, you can connect the weather live, and it can show the temperatures. You can show Fahrenheit or Celsius. It's got an icon set that comes along with it that can show if it's cloudy or sunny or those kinds of things, and even show the wind. And again, you can set this up for as many places as you want. And this is a live storm tracker done with a professional meteorologist who's using our DataPoint software to create that. So the storm trackers you see in the broadcast can easily be done using DataPoint. So this is some screens done from HD Supply on their manufacturing line. And what they're doing here is they're showing the throughput on each of their, what's going on in the manufacturing line, the spray rates, how many panels have gone through, how many are baked in the oven, how many have been packed, what their CNC machine is outputting, et cetera. So it's showing all this information at a glance. And HD Supply says since they've done this, they've had a 25% increase in productivity. And the fellow who done it said, my favorite thing is when the IT people come and say, you're doing that in PowerPoint? How? So it shows an example. So each of these numbers sources are connected live in real time to their machine equipment that's throwing out the information. And also you see there's some red lights here. The red lights can show when any one area is behind, and that can show up automatically. So at a glance, the foreman can say, oh, this is behind. This is not doing as well as it should. I love this one. It was sent to us anonymously, so we don't even know the client. We can't even say who the client is. So this is very interesting. In the central part here, the client is showing 5 machines. 4 of them have green lights on them, and one has a red, flag that it's down currently, and each machine has a number. So you can see at a glance on the map what's up and what's down, and the emoticon changes based upon, whether the machines are up or down. So if they were all up, it would have a smiley face. Down below, it's showing the throughput of each machine. So you can see the machine here, the 50517 that's down is a lower throughput. And over here are the error messages you're getting, the equipment down details, and any preventative maintenance that's scheduled on the calendar comes up here. And of course, they put the time up as well. So all of this using DataPoint allows you to do that. And in case you need to know how many days until Christmas for your shopping, you can do countdowns with DataPoint as well. So there's currently 86 shopping days until Christmas. And as I said, feel free to ask how we did any of these, in these cases, how we connected it, what the benefits been from our clients who are using this. This is Vision Charter High School, and this is showing upcoming events. So here they're able to show on their digital signage upcoming rock band that's coming up on October 26th in the gymnasium. And further to the event promotion, here's the Wildlife Center. They're a 115-acre hands-on place to learn about nature. And they have a live event calendar here, which replaces an old printed event calendar they used to hand out. And they've got such things as meet a live turtle, meet a live owl, and the otter encounter. So, I mean, who wouldn't want to meet a live turtle or owls or see the otters, at the Otter Falls? That's great. So this is a live thing that comes just taken from an Excel spreadsheet that they're able to show. And you can see how lovely it looks because they've been able to create it in PowerPoint and show pictures of what's going on. And they can do a full slide for certain promos. So in addition to showing the event listings, it can also show, have deeper ones as well. It can also show how many tickets are left. So in this case, Cattle Annie's shows sold out for some of their concerts when the last tickets sold, but they could even show how many tickets are left. So you could say only 10 tickets left, and that would give people some incentives, to go, oh, I got to go buy my tickets right now. I got to do this right away. And again, you just connect that live to your ticket database. You can also show your total audience numbers. If you have a large amount of people at a stadium or at your event, you can show that on the screen as well, and that can update in real time. If you've got counts as they come through the door, then that one can come through. You can also do live audience poll results. This would be a combination of using people's smartphones. So you could have an online database where people fill out a survey and they can say, answer a question in real time in the audience. And then you can pull that information into your PowerPoint live that you're displaying behind you in real time, and audience can see the poll results coming up as each person votes. So another great way to be able to create that interactivity with your audience in real time. This is Bayside Associates. So they use DataPoint to create custom presentations for their customers. So if you're trying to get a customer's business, they may have hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in savings they can bring to you. So Bayside Associates used to create these presentations using information what they knew about the client and their portfolio, and using information from investment sources. And it would take them 8 to 10 hours to do one presentation. So, and now it takes them a very short time. So they went from meeting 16 clients per week for new business to 16 possible new clients a week. So that's had a huge impact in how they've been able to do their presentations and to bring in new clients. This is VicTig screening services. So they're creating leads and arranging for demos in their call center. And so they're showing live in real time how many leads they've generated and how many demos that they've booked. This is a very intriguing one. This is SG Nordic. And so they've got an office in Denmark and an office in Israel. And they've got multiple financial sources for all this. And the problem was they had a horrible time trying to get their financial statements together. So in Denmark, they've got an ERP, which is Enterprise Resource Management Program, that has some of the financial data, a non-financial Excel database. And then in Israel, they've got some other Excel files and some business intelligence reports. They put these all into a central Dropbox folder, and then they use PresentationPoint, they use DataPoint to pull out the information and pull into a final PowerPoint. So they're doing their financial statements that way. This is DaVinci Energy using staff information boards for safety, traffic, weather, and they also use it to show specific information for each business unit. So. This is Adicia Nutrition, and they're using DataPoint in a couple of ways. They are a nonprofit group that provides food to treat malnutrition in developing areas. So the first thing that they're showing here is their conference room calendar. So it can show their conference room schedule, so you can see if a conference room is open or available or not. Next, in their warehouse, they've got a screen up showing what warehouse shipments are arriving and at what times, and that way that they can make sure that they have the staff and volunteers to be able to handle the shipments that are coming in. This is a very intriguing one. This is done by Design Agility. So what Design Agility does is they're a consulting firm that goes into companies and they assess your staff and they identify productivity and work challenges that your staff face. And then they develop adoption and training strategies on how to solve these problems and how to solve the things that they found, the needs that they find. So they do staff personas in PowerPoint, showing the technical skills of each employee and their challenges that each employee is facing. So they used to do this manually in PowerPoint, but they found the slides were often messed up with font and alignment problems. And you can see the kinds of things they're doing here. So Susan, for example, her needs for document creation are a 3 out of 5. Her need for real-time communications, 3 out of 5. Collaboration, only a 2 out of 5. Finding people and information, 4 out of 5, etc. And mobility, 4 out of 5. So that means she probably needs a laptop, as an example. Her work styles, does she need to have internal mobility? Not really, but she does need external mobility. And over here, current technology, it shows she doesn't have a laptop. She's got a desktop, desk phone, and a smartphone, doesn't have a tablet or mobile phone. They've identified she should probably have a laptop as well, and she needs a headset, which she doesn't have. So this identifies, and you can see at a glance. And what I love is they're using infographics for the data instead of numbers or things like that. And that's something that DataPoint excels at, is being able to tick off boxes, do things like this. So it's a really great example of what shows here. And there's multiple slides that they have with this. This is only a single shot of the first slide of the profile. It lists also what applications she uses, but there's a lot deeper information. And so they do all this. Now they gather all the information in an Excel spreadsheet by interviewing each staff member and asking them about their work habits and their needs and things like that. This saves them 6 hours for each profile they're doing. So DataPoint is saving them 6 hours per profile. So you can imagine what that's doing for their profitability and their speed with which they can provide the solutions to the clients. So this is interesting from one of our partners, Vega Global. So they've set up a system here where it shows all the conference rooms in the building, and then it shows which conference rooms are available for use. So you can have it page through and show all the different floors or just the current floor, and it can show other messages as well. So it's connected live to their room reservation system, so you can see at a glance if a room might be open. And the next slide is also from Vega Global, and it shows hot desk availability. So some companies that may not have all their staff in every day, they might work with a hot desking system where you just take an open desk and work at it. So here it's showing at a glance all the open desks that they have available currently. This is the city of Winter Springs, and they're managing speakers at their council chambers. So it's meetings with public and elected officials. Commissioners can press a Bluetooth button to add themselves to the queue. So you can connect a live physical Bluetooth button to to the DataPoint and to your PowerPoint that way. And it times each speaker, so you can make sure people don't go over, which is important when you're allowing people to talk. This is a program I put together showing an example. If you had done polls of people, you could do information about what their name is, where they're from, what their key issues were in the upcoming election, and you might even suggest to them which party best suits their what their particular issues were. And all of this can then be turned into creating videos that you send out to each person. So imagine creating hundreds of thousands of videos and sending each voter in your state or province or country a personalized video outlining what's happening in the election, outlining what the key issues are, and helping them learn where they can vote and those kinds of things. And you can also show live polling information about what's going on, what the polls are returning. You can show it on a map in real time as well. You can connect your presentation to PowerPoint, your PowerPoint presentation to Facebook, and show how many likes are happening, or you can compare to. Here was just a mock-up I did showing comparison of BMW versus Mercedes-Benz at that particular time. You can also show Twitter feeds. You can do a Twitter wall. If you have an event, you could be showing all the comments people are making about the speakers, about the event, about what it's like to be there. And you can have that updating in real time. You can also show Facebook posts right live as well within your PowerPoint presentation as well. So this is an interesting one. This is from the Montreal Torah Center, and they do an annual dinner and raffle to raise funds. So what they were doing is they had a video up where they're doing the draw, shows the person doing the draw, and then in real time in the background, they're showing a PowerPoint presentation connected to DataPoint that shows the winning number, who the person who won, and the canvasser, the person who sold it. So a very intriguing way to add a lot of great information as to what's going on live at a fundraising event, to be able to show these kinds of things in the screen. You could expand this. This could be for bingo calling. You could do this as well. So I love showing this one. This is Sotheby's auction. And what they're doing is they have connected. So when you're doing an auction, first off, the technology just got to work. You can't have it fail in the middle of your presentation. So Sotheby's auction is using a PowerPoint presentation to show the auction bidding in real time in 7 different currencies. And they're using that to connect their PowerPoint to a Microsoft Access database. So they're using DataPoint for that. Cryptocurrency dashboards, if you're into crypto, want to show the latest pricing, want to show your portfolio, how much money you've made or lost, you can connect your dashboard live to cryptocurrency sources and show that in PowerPoint. I really like these examples here. These are live sports scores shown in PowerPoint using DataPoint. The one on the left is at a golf tournament. So you can see on the screen here, they're showing in real time what tee the person's on, what their their name and what their current score is, where they're currently at. So this is showing the current leaderboards there. The right-hand side one is really interesting. So this is a PowerPoint presentation that's showing a video live in the background of the darts hitting the dartboard. And then the PowerPoint is showing the scores down below. And you can see how they did this. It's just a simple Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So as they update, as each dart's thrown in the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, then it automatically updates on the PowerPoint that's also showing the video. So I love that one. That's just a really good example that shows how a simple, because to be honest, Excel's kind of ugly, which is another great reason to be using PowerPoint to actually show your data instead of Excel or something like that. I mean, most data sources are kind of ugly at their base. They're really just a table. So PowerPoint gives you a great way to be able to display that. And in this case, they would have just bound each box here to that particular box on the Excel spreadsheet. If you guys have questions about how some of these were done, or comments or feedback or things you didn't know you could do, let me know. Or if you have questions about something you think you might want to do. So flight simulator. So in Disneyland Paris, and there's an iFlight simulator that uses DataPoint to to keep track of the different airports and where they're landing and the status of the flights and those kinds of things. So they're using our software to help enhance their flight simulator. And this one would be very similar to what you're talking about, Hal. So you can use PowerPoint as an interactive sales tool and set up the navigation so that people can browse it like at a kiosk. So this could be a kiosk, it could be a tablet you hand somebody, or it could just be a touch screen where they touch it and they can jump through and go to all these areas. And again, you can change these from a central point. So if your pricing is changed, you can change a central spreadsheet, and then that will change all your kiosks, the pricing and all that. If you want to add a new product, you can add a new product that way. And again, it will change at all the kiosks. So this is a great way to be able to set up these interactive sales tools where people can navigate their own way through to be able to look at it. Traffic signals. This is an interesting use. This is in Antwerp, Belgium. So what happens is there's a camera that's detecting the height of a vehicle that's driving up to it. So, and it will automatically display a stop sign if the height is too high, and that's displayed by PowerPoint, in PowerPoint, and it's using DataPoint to get the information from the camera that, when it should be a stop instead of another one. So DataPoint's being used to be able to trigger that. So emergency digital signage as well, another great way to show it. If there's an emergency, you can have your database show if it's a blizzard, hurricane, earthquake, whatever it is, you can have it call up what the associated data is with that, like where people should be going, what they should be doing in this emergency, and those kinds of things. So emergency digital signage, I think, is a really important thing that we should be doing, more of. I can see in a shopping mall that, digital signage is the way that you would be able to communicate with people to tell them what to do in an emergency situation in these cases. And this is a screenshot, the resolution is not that high, from the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. In their mental health offices, they're showing this so that people can get the information they need. So it's showing, mental health information, gives them some inspirational comments, shows them the benefits programs they can do, suicide prevention programs, drug and alcohol information, children's mental health. So it pages through, not that fast, of course, this is just an animated GIF that's paging through. And so that shows all the different ways it can be done. This is an example of a school that's used DataPoint to create certificates for their all the graduating class, and it shows this is an international class, so it's showing the name of the person, showing maybe, I don't know if that's ranking or what, I don't know what the numbers mean there, but it's also showing the country they're from, their photo, their name, and where they're from, and that kind of information. So it's all in a spreadsheet, and it can be printed, of course, or projected if you want to. Here's another school example. This is the Seven Lakes School in Katy, Texas. And this is a teacher recognition program. So the students filled out a Google form with notes of recognition for teachers, what they liked about the teacher, some positive comment. It was downloaded into Excel and then merged using DataPoint, and it's shown on these big screens here. And the comment from the organizer of the parent advisory group that organized it was, the kids were kind and mature in their thoughts, and the impact on the teachers was priceless. So that was a really good comment, priceless, the impact on the teachers, to see what the students were saying about them, because often, maybe teachers are not getting enough positive feedback for the very hard work they're doing in our schools. And this was a really great way to make sure these teachers were being recognized and could get some positive feedback from their students. So. And churches, there's churches that are using this for event listings, agendas, what's going to happen during the service, song information, what the next song is, what page in the hymnal. You can do a member participation, a list of what the members are coming up and doing a special prayer or a special thing that they're doing, a special reading from a certain member. So it's a great way to be able to keep people engaged, show them what's coming next. And funny signs. I love it when I walk by or drive by a company and they've got a sign out that's really funny. And it just gives me really positive feelings about that company or organization. So I love to see that. You can easily set up your own using Excel spreadsheet and PowerPoint and DataPoint, of course, or any other, database you want to use. We also have a funny signs JSON feed. So if you look on our website, I think we had a recent blog article on it, if you want to connect to our funny signs feed. And this lets you have, a continually changing sign. You could change it every 30 minutes, every 1 hour, every 10 minutes, whatever you want, as often as you want, and you can have it change. You can throw inspirational quotes out. So if you want to inspire people, you can do that. Anything you might want to put up there, you can have it rotate through that way. And tell us your story. If you currently use DataPoint for anything, I would love to hear from you. I collect customer stories. We can write the article from information you provide. So we're not going to force you to write the whole article. You can just simply answer a few questions for us, maybe send us a couple screenshots or some photos with your smartphone or maybe a video. And we can go from there and we can create the article. And we love sharing this. And if you look at our case studies area, you'll see we have tons of case studies. That's where most of this information has been drawn from. And now is the perfect time to ask lots of questions. So questions, comments, thoughts? And while you're typing your questions, I'll give you guys a coupon code as well. Webinar 092021. This is valid till the end of this week only, so valid till Sunday. And this will give you a 50% discount on DataPoint licenses. So, could the weather updates be provided by Environment Canada and the Weather Network? Really good question, Hal. So let's just come out of the PowerPoint here so I can show you how connections are made. We've got a weather provider built in. Whether it can also work with another weather provider would depend upon their feed. So usually with DataPoint, what you do is you click on DataPoint and it gives you all these options up here. Your first step is to click on list. And then it gives you a weather option here. So this is a built-in weather option that we've got connected to. If I go add query, then I choose where I would like the weather to come from. In this case, I can choose Ottawa. And in this case, I can choose whether I want Fahrenheit or Celsius. In Canada, we still use Celsius. We use Celsius here. So I can do that. And you can choose from some icon sets. So this is the other benefit of working with our provider is we have some preset icon sets you can work with. A few advanced things you can do as well. There's some sort and selection options, but we'll just leave it right now as is. And then we click OK. So now we've got this query for Ottawa, and you can see all the data information here, country, longitude, latitude, the weather text currently, and things like that, and so on. So then if I wanted to show the weather, and usually, by the way, I would name that query because you soon get 5 or 6 queries and you can't remember. So if I want to go Ottawa temperature, then what I would do is I would click on this text box and I would bind it to that query. Go like this, and I go weather, new query, and I don't want city. So what I would want is maybe current temperature right there, which would be 13. I go there and it's got the temperature already showing there. And again, I can format this the same way I would do anything in PowerPoint. Like I probably don't want that to be a bullet point. I can also create additional text boxes, like so that text box is done there. But if I wanted to change this to say weather, add a new text box. As you can see, I'm not a professional graphic designer, but I could have a professional graphic designer make this look pretty for me. Then I could go say, copy that one. Wind. Copy that one. And then I'm going to just change that one and bind it in DataPoint to the wind. Wind speed, there we go. So, and again, I can put after this as well. I can do some additional things. I can go text box, and I can actually do some formatting on this. If I wanted these kinds of things under miscellaneous, let's see, rules, what else I got here? here you go. Text, I can put a prefix on it. So if I could put in the symbol for, or suffix of Celsius, which I can't remember the actual keyboard shortcut for that, but I could put, so I could put Celsius or F or C or something like that. So I can set that up as well. And again, I could do the same thing with the wind speed and things like that. So Hal says, I really like the mechanical flip signs you see in airports and train stations. Could DataPoint drive something like those? The answer is yes, as long as you're doing it in PowerPoint. So it wouldn't be an actual mechanical flip. What you would do is you would set up the mechanical flip animation in PowerPoint, and then you would have the data connected to that and show that, and then it would flip over that way. So the answer is yes, but it would be an animation, not an actual mechanical flip, because it needs to be running on. We do need PowerPoint running at some point because DataPoint is a PowerPoint add-on. So. Now, the cool thing is there are some interesting mechanical things we can do. For example, with the Internet of Things, there's a lot of equipment out there, industrial equipment that has information that's being provided that comes, that is exported as data that we can pull in to using DataPoint and can be shown on here. And that's how with the HD Supply, that is how HD Supply is getting their let's see, where's that one? Yeah, that's how HD Supply is getting these kinds of numbers up in the screen, because these are taken right from their machines. Now, the cool thing about this too is you might say, okay, well, my machine's already got a screen on it that shows how the machine's running. So why would I need this? This is a way to amalgamate the screen, all the output from all the different machines. So you could have 10 different machines output all showing here in one slide, in one dashboard. And you can also have it go through multiple screens, so it doesn't always have to be the same screen showing. So this lets you pull it all together in one, all that information from all those different places. So. Another thing I should mention too is you can also do meters. Let's see, where have I got that example? Let's go to YouTube for a moment. Go to our PresentationPoint YouTube, and let's look for our YouTube channel. By the way, has lots of great information, how-tos, and things like that. So it's well worth looking at. So let's see. So for meters. Here we go. Just going to mute this, but so you won't get the voiceover. But you're able to have meters that change in real time based upon your data. So you can do the old style analog type meters. So they could be, thermometer type, minimum, max, and you set the minimum and maximums, and then whatever the number is comes as it changes the meter based on that. So again, if you love the mechanical look and things, you could come up with a steampunk look or very industrial look, something like this, that can be done quite easily. So, yeah, thanks, Hal. I went, wow, the first time I saw that too, because Kurt had shown it to me once or twice before, and I went, wow, the first time he showed it to me. But when he put together all the different ones on one screen like this, just it really shows off what can be done with that. So any other questions about all these usages? I think a couple of you are currently using DataPoint, and I would love to hear again how you're using it or what you're thinking of using it for, or if you have a use case and you want to know how it would work. That would be good to know as well. So. And as I said, we have this case studies area on our website that I've grabbed a lot of these stories from. So you can see some of the different things people are doing, or how people are using our software. Nonprofit ambulance places using it for their logistics and that kind of thing. Meeting rooms, Neptune terminals in Vancouver using it to show their meeting room schedules. There's the design agility ability one. Yeah, NATO is using it as well. We can't tell you exactly how they're using it. We can't show you because we're sworn to secrecy. But we did a custom solution for NATO. Restaurants, ice cream places, reporting, museums. There's just tons of different people using it. And the personalized video one's interesting too, because I mentioned you could do voter videos for everybody in your country or your state or province or something like that. So that's an interesting thing to think about. What I could do a personalized video for all my employees. I could do a personalized video for each of my clients, and think about that. Can boardroom availability be linked to the scheduling tool in Outlook? Hal asks. And I love that you asked that question, because our answer is yes. So when we look at let's look here at resources. Let's go to integration. I'll just show you the different integrations we have. Sorry, just taking a moment here. So we can connect to Facebook, Google Analytics, Google Calendar, Google Sheets, Instagram, JSON, Microsoft Access, Microsoft Dynamics, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Exchange, Microsoft SharePoint, Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft Yammer, MySQL, News, OData, ODBC, OLEDB, OPC, which is the open protocol for industrial equipment, Oracle, and so on, RSS feeds, Salesforce, text files, Twitter, weather, and XML. So yes, the answer is we can, through the Microsoft ones we have, we can connect it to the scheduling tool in Outlook or in Google Calendar. It can connect to either of those, and they are being done that way. And again, if we go to here and we go to list, we can show it to another way. So these are all some of the different providers: Facebook page, Facebook posts, Instagram, news, RSS feeds, Numberish, Salesforce, weather, Google Analytics, Calendar and Sheets, Microsoft, Access, Dynamics, Excel, Exchange, Outlook, SQL Server, SharePoint, Yammer, MySQL, and etc. All these ones down here. Straight text files as well, like comma separated files or tab, those kinds of things we can connect to as well. So really, this is every major data source out there. I don't think we've missed a major data source, but if we have, let us know. I mean, there might be some small little tiny data sources or used by older things that we haven't gotten to yet, but for the most part, we can do almost any data source. The other thing is, if you do have a data source you don't think we can access, almost all data sources can export as comma separated or as a spreadsheet, as an Excel spreadsheet. So you can just set up a macro to do an export like every 30 minutes, and then we can pull that from the spreadsheet. So chances are we can find a way to be able to get that data for you. And I should mention too, since Kurt's not here, so I can rave about him and he won't blush and be embarrassed. But our founder, Kurt, who's developed this DataPoint system, is really good with the support, and he's created brand new tools and brand new features based upon what people have asked for with our Counterpoint software, which is queue management software for managing queues. Lineups and things like that. Someone said, "Oh wow, we love it, Kurt, but we'd love if it made a sound every time the number changed, like now serving number 42 and switched to 43." He not only added a sound for that, but he also added a voice to text to voice that would say, read aloud, now serving number 43. So that's the kind of service Kurt gives, and he's really awesome at helping people. So, and I love working for a company where they've got that level of support and backup. So Kurt usually is in on these, but he had unfortunately another meeting. He didn't think he'd get back in time for due to traffic. So I like having him here too, because he can also answer deep technical questions that I might have to go away and research. So any other questions, thoughts, ideas? Is there anything percolating in your head about a way you think you might want to use DataPoint? Okay, well, there doesn't seem to be any more questions. So those of you who need to get on with your day can go ahead. I'll hang in for another minute or two in case somebody's typing something. Oh, Hal says building directories. Yes, so a building directory would be really easy to do. You could have, it could show what floor they're on, show the room number, could even show their hours of opening if you want. So there's tons of ways you could do that. It could also be a interactive building directory where you push on a company name and information about that company would come up. So instead of just saying, oh, you know, such and such accounting is on floor 4, room 302, you could push a button and it would talk about, you know, what that, be a bit of advertising. It would say what the company does, you know, what their hours are, do they need appointments or not, you know, do they take walk-ins and those kinds of things. So. And as I said, if you want to try out DataPoint, we do have a a special price on the license for you right now. You could do that. 3D animated to show you how to get to that person. Possibly. It depends on your animation skills. If there's a data aspect to it, we can certainly look at working with that. So. But yes, like you could do a walkthrough screen, or you could have videos that would show how to walk to each one, and that video would be played based upon which one they'd chosen. So certainly there could be an animation or a video that would show up based on that. So. And do reach out to us. You know, if you've got an idea, there's a free trial you can download as well. So you can also download a free trial, play with it, see if you can get it working. Or if you're not sure about the data source, pop us a note, send us a support ticket. We'll happily tell you whether we think we can connect to that data or not. But, you know, we've been able to connect to such a wide range that I think there's very little data we might not be able to access. For people who are curious, by the way, we never take your data anywhere. So the data does not sit on some PresentationPoint cloud system. The data comes into your PowerPoint presentation. So DataPoint's just an add-on to your PowerPoint, okay? So it comes into your PowerPoint presentation directly from your server or whatever source you're using. So if you're accessing an Excel spreadsheet on your computer, that data never leaves your computer system. It never goes anywhere else. Is it compatible with Office 365? The answer is yes. You need DataPoint 2016 or newer, so Office 365 is fine. So yes, it will work with Office 365. Another good question, Hal. Yeah, so the data is all secure because it's not going anywhere unless you're accessing an internet feed, and then of course you're getting whatever's on the internet feed. So we're never taking your data anywhere, and we don't have access to it. We couldn't sell it if we wanted to because we don't have it. so and that's a concern sometimes with people who are, oh well, my IT department doesn't want our data going anywhere. So in that case, you can assure them there's not a problem. You may have issues too if you're in a larger company with sometimes your antivirus software may have issues with installing, because it does that for installing any kind of program or add-on, or your IT department may have special rules. So you want to check with your IT department if they have any concerns, and have them contact us about our privacy policies and things like that. But it's used, as I say, by over 10,000 clients, used by some of the largest companies in the world. If NATO and the US Air Force and NASA trust us, then chances are you can trust us as well. So. Any last questions? Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming. As I said, if you know somebody else who could use this presentation, then you can, the video, the recorded video will be up in a few days, and then you can share it with them. So thanks for coming, everybody. And I look forward to hearing what you've built with DataPoint. Please contact me, garland@presentationpoint.com, or send a support ticket or something, but please do reach out to me because I would love to hear what you're building with DataPoint. As I said, I'm a conversation architect and I really want to hear your stories. So thanks for coming. Bye for now.